يعطيكم العافية يا رب. خلينا والله نشوف هاي passage number 3. This is a difficult passage. Why companies should welcome disorder. Okay, this is the title. I'm not going to read the passage. I'm going to just jump into the questions and just highlight the questions and then read the passage and find the answers. Reading passage 3 has 8 sections from A to H. Choose the correct heading. Here I'm going to choose the correct heading. I have like 9 headings and 8 sections, so one heading is extra. List of headings, complaints. So if I want to choose this heading, number 1, I must find complaints, the impacts of a certain approach. 2, fundamental beliefs that are in fact incorrect. So it's not enough to find fundamental beliefs in the paragraph. You must say that these beliefs are actually incorrect. Early recommendations, some advice, some some kind of concerning business activities, and these advice, pieces of advice are early, like in an early time. Organization. So if you want to choose a heading number 4, you must see organizations, like maybe the names of organizations or something like that. That puts a new approach into practice. Okay. So it's not enough just to see some names of some organizations in the paragraph to choose this heading. You must find that these organizations put this new approach into practice. Companies actually are almost the same as organizations, but there are some differences in details. Have suffered from changing their approach. So they changed their approach and they struggled with that. Number 6, what people are increasingly expected to do. Okay, what do you think people to do? How to achieve outcomes, okay, that are currently impossible. So the outcomes, they must be now impossible. Neither approach, not the first one, not the second one, guarantees continuous improvement. Evidence. So we need to find an evidence, like a study, a research, something like that, that a certain approach can have more disadvantages than advantages. Okay, so it's not enough that the paragraph said that this approach has a lot of disadvantages. There must be some kind of an evidence to choose heading number 9. Okay, let's move on to the second question. Completion question, choose one word only. I have the 3 questions, numerous training sessions. So if I find, while I'm reading, if I find something about training sessions, I'm going to go to question number 35, are aimed at people who feel they are not what enough. So training sessions to increase people's what? Okay, these people are going to training sessions because they don't feel something enough, so they want to like develop, to improve this thing. Being organized, appeals to people. Appeals means like people like it, who regard themselves as what? They see themselves as what? Many people feel what with aspects of their work. Okay, so these questions are in order. So I'm going to start looking for question number 35. But we also have like 3 questions, true, false, and not given. Both business and people. If I find something about both business and people, aim at order without really considering its value, without the true, like, let's say, aims, order actually achieve or something like that. Innovation is most successful if the people involved have distinct rules. Okay, so people are like everyone doing something different from the other one. Okay, and finally, Google. If I find Google, I'm going to go to question number 40. Was inspired to adopt flexibility by the success of General Electric. Okay, these questions are also come in order. So I'm going to take question number 38. Okay, so both business and people. If I find both business and people, I'm going to come to question. I'm going to try to answer question 38. I'm going to also take this question because these questions are come in order. Numerous training sessions are aimed at people who feel they are not what. So training sessions. And I'm not going to take anything from this question headings. I'm just gonna try to answer this question after I finish each section. So when I'm done with section A, I'm gonna come here to try to choose a heading before I move to section B. The idea here is like to read the passage only once. So, okay, again, training sessions and both people and business. Okay, yeah, let's start reading. I'm looking for training sessions and both people and businesses. Organization is big business, okay? Whether it's for our lives, all those in boxes and calendars, or how companies are structured, a multi-billion dollar industry helps to meet this need. There is nothing yet about training sessions. There is nothing about both people and businesses. We have more strategies for time management, project management, and self-organization than any other time in human history. Okay? Nothing about training sessions. We are told that we ought to organize our company. So we need to organize our company, our home life, our week, our day, and even our sleep, all as a means to becoming more productive. So we need to organize our life to become more productive. Every week, countless seminars and workshops take place around the world to tell a paying public that they ought to structure. You need to structure their life in order to achieve this. Okay? To become like more productive. So I think that seminars, workshops are like, maybe these are like some kind of training sessions aimed at people who feel what? So this is like tricky. We're told that we ought to organize our company, our home life, our week to become more what? Okay, because they don't feel something enough, so they want more of this. Even sleep as means to becoming more productive, I guess. So people feel not productive enough, so they take countless seminars and workshops to structure their life to achieve this. So this is the answer. This refers to becoming more productive. So here, question number, 35, I'm going to choose productive. Okay, they are not feeling something enough, so they want more of this thing, more productive. So they take seminars and workshops. These are training sessions. So the answer must be here. And since we don't have any other word that fits here other than productive, so I'm going to choose productive. This is tricky, not easy at all. Okay, being organized appeals to people who regard. Okay, so appeals to people who regard being organized. Anyway, this rhetoric has also crept into the thinking of business leaders and entrepreneurs, much to the delight of self-proclaimed perfectionists with the need to get everything right. Okay, so appeals this is like something people like, so much to the delight. Okay, delights, they like this thing. This thing is like, they feel this thing delight, delight for them. Okay, so being organized. Okay, everything right. To people appealed who regarded who regarded themselves, which means self-proclaimed. They see themselves, they describe themselves, they regard themselves. So this is the same as self-proclaimed. What? As perfectionists. So the answer here is going to be perfectionists. So how do I know? Because like appeal means delight, regard themselves, self-proclaimed. Self-proclaims, they see themselves, okay, as perfectionists. Many people feel about their work. The number of business schools and graduates has massively increased over the past 50 years, essentially teaching people how to organize well. Okay, I'm done with the first section. There's nothing about many people feel about aspects of their work. There is nothing about both business and people are without really considering its value. No. I'm going to try just to choose a heading for this section. So it's talking about people taking a lot of seminars, workshops to become more productive. And this is like delight for perfectionists. Okay. Complaints. Is there any complaints in section number 1? Section number A? Any complaints? No. Fundamental beliefs that are in fact incorrect. So maybe someone's gonna say like making your life in order, okay, to become more productive is like something like fundamental. But there's nothing said that it's incorrect. So I'm not gonna choose heading number 2. Early recommendations. So to become more productive, to take seminars, to organize your life, maybe these are recommendations, but there is nothing about early. So I'm not gonna choose it. Organizations, okay, name of organizations. No, I don't have. Put new approach. There is nothing about new approach. Companies that have suffered from changing. There's nothing about changing approach. What people are increasingly expected to do? What people need to do more? Okay, yes, they need to become more productive, to organize their lives, okay, to, like, let's say, structure their life in order, something like this. So I guess that the answer is going to be heading number 6. Achieve outcomes that currently impossible. Maybe someone's going to say that outcomes are the same as becoming productive, organize your life, to structure your life in order. Yes, but there's nothing about these aims are impossible. Okay, neither approach. I don't have 2 approaches. Evidence that certain approach have more. Okay, maybe this is an approach like to organize your life, but there's nothing about more disadvantage than advantage. So I'm gonna choose number 6. It's all about the tiny details, guys. Make sure when you are trying to choose a heading, make sure that you choose the one with all details are there in the paragraph or section here. If you want to just take the general idea, you're gonna find like many headings that can fit. So choose the one with all details are there. Okay, section B. So let's take a look at what questions I'm looking for. Many people feel about the aspects of their work and both business and people. Many people feel okay. Ironically, however, the number of businesses that fail has also steadily increased. Okay, nothing. Work-related stress has increased. So maybe people are stressed. People feel stress. Not so clear. A large proportion of workers. So workers, maybe these people feel about their work. Maybe workers, people talking about their work. From all demographics claim, maybe feel to be dissatisfied with the way. So with the way their work is structured and the way they are managed. So these are the work is structured, the way the work is structured is an aspect, and the way they are managed is another aspect of their work. So they feel dissatisfied. So I'm gonna choose dissatisfied as an answer for question number 37. Okay, I'm done with the completion question, which is a good thing. I'm trying to find both businesses and people. Okay, so many people are dissatisfied with their work. This begs the question, what has gone wrong? Why is it that on paper the drive for organization seems a sure shot for increasing productivity, but in reality falls well short of what is expected? So they don't achieve like their goals, something like that. Okay, so many people are like dissatisfied with their work. Why? Even there are a lot of like order or organizing going there. Okay, let's check the headings here. Complaints about the impact of a certain approach. I guess maybe, yeah. The complaints, people are dissatisfied. So the workers claim to be dissatisfied, so they complain about okay, this approach, which is like the order or more organizing approach or something like that. This approach. that they are talking about. Anyway, let's check other headings. Fundamental beliefs that in fact incorrect. No, there's nothing about it. Fundamental beliefs that incorrect. He did not say that this is incorrect. He's just questioning why this is not working. Early recommendations, nothing about early organizations that put new on, there is no names. Companies, there is no names. How to achieve outcomes that currently impossible? No. Neither approach. I only have like one approach to become more organized, order approach. Evidence that a certain approach can have more disadvantages than advantages. There's no, maybe someone's gonna say like order causes like companies to fail, businesses to fail, people to suffer from more stress. But there is no like evidence here for this point. So I'm gonna choose complaints. People are complaining because they are dissatisfied. Okay, a certain approach. This is the same approach that they are talking about, the order or organizing approach. So I'm gonna choose heading number 1. There's nothing about both businesses and people. Okay, I'm going to go back to this question. If I find it, I'm going to answer it. If not, I'm going to go back to the heading question. This has been a problem for a while now. Okay, Frederick Taylor was one of the forefathers, so the founding fathers, first fathers of scientific management, writing in the first half of the 20th century. So he started writing, in the first half of the 20th century, it's like from 1900 to 1950, something like that. He designed a number of principles to improve the efficiency of work process. Okay, so he wrote some principles which have since become widespread in modern companies. So the approach has been around for a while. So this approach, okay, maybe these like principles, okay, have been around for a while. Okay, there's nothing about both people and businesses and people aimed at order. So let's check the heading question. Fundamental beliefs that are incorrect. Maybe these principles are fundamentals, but there's nothing in the paragraph says that they are incorrect. Early recommendations. Okay, some pieces of advice, some principles. Yes. Where's early? Okay, they have been written or they were written in the first half of the 20th century. Okay, so this is like very early, like an early time. Concerning business activity, is this about business? Yeah, work process, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna choose heading number 3 for this paragraph, paragraph C, early recommendations. Okay, let's go back to both people and business and try to answer this question. New research, so I have a research here, okay, suggests that this obsession with the efficiency is misguided. Okay, so the problem is not necessarily the management theories or strategies we use to organize our work. It's the basic assumptions, okay, the fundamental beliefs, I guess, we hold in approaching how we work. Okay, here it's the assumption that order is a necessary condition for productivity. So the problem here, he's saying that this is a problem. The problem in our belief, we think that order is necessary. This is a problem. So this belief is not right. Okay. This assumption has also fostered the idea that disorder must be detrimental to organizational productivity. This is also like another idea, another assumption that order is like essential for productivity and disorder leads to detrimental effects or something like that. The result is that businesses and people, businesses and people, so both businesses and people here spend time and money organizing themselves for the sake of organizing. So they spend money and time just to organize themselves rather than actually which means without looking at the end goal. So they don't like consider the end goal and usefulness of such an effort. So they don't consider the real goal, the real impact or something like that. So they organize themselves just to be organized, without looking at the goal they are about to achieve. Both businesses and people aim at order. They try to organize themselves. Without really considering its value, without considering its like goal, its usefulness. Yes, that's true. So they organize just for the sake of organizing without actually considering the usefulness of it. Yes, this is going to be true. So let's try to choose a heading for paragraph D. Fundamental beliefs that are in fact incorrect. Well, I'm gonna say yes, that order is leading to productivity. Disorder is leading to detrimental impacts. And where's the idea that these fundamental beliefs, fundamental, which are like basic assumptions, in fact, incorrect? He said that this is a problem. So we have a problem with these assumptions. So these assumptions are actually incorrect. So I'm going to choose number 2 here for paragraph D or section D. I'm going to also check other headings, organizations. There are no names for companies. There are no companies. How to achieve outcomes that currently impossible. There is nothing about it. Neither approach guarantees continuous improvement. Yeah, I have like 2 approaches here, order and disorder. But there is nothing about continuous improvement. Evidence. I have a research here. This is an evidence that certain approach can have more disadvantages than advantages. Like he did not make any kind of comparison. He just said that like these 2 approaches are like or the ideas about these approaches, order and disorder, are not correct. But there's no comparison. There's nothing about like more disadvantages than advantages. So before we check paragraph E, let's look at the question in order. We have innovation is most successful if people involved have distinct rules. Innovation, something about innovation. What's more, recent studies, I also have like another evidence, show that order actually has diminishing returns. Order does increase productivity to a certain extent. But eventually, the usefulness of the process of organization and the benefit it yields reduce until the point where any further increase in order reduces productivity. Some argue that in a business, if the costs of formally structured something outweighs, so the cost outweighs, which means more than the benefits of doing it, then that thing ought not to be formally structured. Instead, the resources involved can be better used elsewhere. So sometimes, there is nothing about innovation here, so I'm not going to answer question 39, but about the headings, he said that the cost outweighs the benefit. So in other words, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. And is there any evidence? Yes, there are like recent studies. So let's check the headings. Organizations, no. Companies, no. There are no names of organizations or companies. How to achieve outcomes that currently impossible. There is nothing about impossible. Neither approach guarantees continuous improvement. No evidence. Yeah, I have like a research or study. Certain approach, which is order, can have more disadvantages. Yes, like the cost, for example, than the advantages than the benefits. Yes. So I have all details of this heading. So I'm going to choose heading 9 for paragraph E. 9. Here's heading 9. Again, my question below innovation. Anything about innovation? In fact, research shows that, I have another evidence, When innovating, I have innovation, something about innovation. The best approach is to create an environment devoid, which means devoid, do not contain, do not have environment does not have a structure and hierarchy and enable everyone involved to engage as one organic group. So we don't have like hierarchy, we don't have structure. So everyone is work with everyone. It's like an organic group with everyone is like connected to everyone. Okay, so it's like devoid. This environment does not have structure hierarchy. Innovation is most successful if people involved have distinct rules. No, it's totally the opposite. It's devoid from structure and hierarchy. So in the structure hierarchy, people have like distinct rules, but here like they engage as one group. So everyone's connected to everyone. So they don't have like some kind of distinct rules. So the answer is going to be false. These environments can lead to new solutions that under conventionally structured environments filled with bottlenecks in terms of information flow, power structure, rules, and routines would never be reached. Okay, so these new solutions would never be reached under like order or organizing. They could be achieved by other like approach, like let's say maybe disorder. So let's try to answer a question that let's choose a heading for section F. Organizations, companies, nothing here. How to achieve outcomes that currently impossible. Yes, outcomes, the solutions, and currently impossible would never be reached. Okay, it's like impossible to be reached now, so they are impossible. How to achieve them? By like following a different approach, like devoid from structure and hierarchy. So I'm gonna choose heading number 7. Okay, I've already chosen number 9. Neither approach, nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna go with heading number 7 here for section F. So I also still have like a question here in the true false not given question. Google. When I see Google, I'm gonna try to answer this question. In recent times, companies, so something about companies for heading, have slowly started to embrace this organization. So people start to adopt this organization. Many of them embrace it in terms of perception, embracing the idea of disorder as opposed to fearing it. And in terms of process, putting mechanisms in place to reduce structure. Okay. For example, Oticon. So this is like a company, an organization. A large Danish manufacturer of hearing aids used what is called a spaghetti structure in order to reduce the organization's rigid hierarchies. This involved scrapping formal job titles and giving staff huge amounts of ownership over their own time and projects. Okay, so I have like an example of company organization. So for the heading, I'm going to try to choose number 4 or 5. Organization that puts a new approach into practice or they have suffered. So far, this company has like puts the new approach into practice. The like, okay, this organization or disorder. Okay, and they give me like details how they applied this new approach without talking about any suffer they like went through. This approach proved to be highly successful initially, with clear improvements in the work productivity in all facets of the business. So these companies are not actually suffering. They just put the new approach into practice. In similar fashion, the former chairman of General Electric embraced disorganization, putting forward the idea of the boundaryless organization. So again, this company, General Electric, putting the idea of disorder, okay, embraced disorganization without saying anything about suffering. So they put the new approach. I'm leaning to heading number 4. Again, it involves breaking down the barriers between different parts of a company and encouraging virtual collaboration and flexible working. Okay, Google. Okay, I'm going to choose heading. Actually, I'm going to go back to the true false not given question. A number of other each companies have have embraced, at least in part, these kinds of flexible structures. facilitated by technology and strong company values which glue people together. I'm gonna go with number 4, organizations that put a new approach into practice. There is nothing about that they have suffered. No. Okay, so I'm gonna choose number 4. Okay, I'm gonna also try to answer question number 40. Google, this is Google, was inspired to adopt flexibility, which is mean disorder, this one, flexible structure, by the success of General Electric. So was like Google influenced by General Electric? So again, number of other companies have embraced it. Okay. Ah, well, there's nothing about like they have been inspired by General Electric. There is no reference. There is no any like indication that Google have adopted this structure because of the success of General Electric. I can't find anything about this. So this part of the question, inspired, is not there. So I'm going to choose not given here. Okay. And finally, I'm done with all questions. I'm just going to choose a heading for paragraph or section H. I have left with 2 headings. Companies that have suffered or neither approach guarantees continuous improvements. A word of warning to others thinking of jumping on this bandwagon. The evidence so far suggests disorder, much like order. So disorder is like order in what? Also seems to have diminishing utility, which means and can also have detrimental effects on performance if overused. Like order, disorder should be embraced only so far as it is useful. So don't go like all the way in disorder, okay? So like order can be detrimental, disorder can be detrimental, both of them, okay? But we should not fear it, nor venerate one over the other. This research also shows that we should continually question whether or not our existing assumptions work. Companies that have suffered, nothing about companies. Yeah, neither approach guarantee continuous improvement. This is the one. Nor the disorder, uh, not disorder nor order guarantees like you're gonna definitely succeed in your work. Okay, both of them can have detrimental effects. So you need to be careful. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna choose heading number 8. The idea here, as you see, guys, I have read the passage only once, and I have answered all the questions here on this passage, even if I have like a question, like list of headings matching, that does not come in order. Okay. Yeah, I'm done with everything. Let's check our answers. Yeah, okay. All of our answers are correct. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.